Welcome to Unfiltered Gupshup USA podcast, a heartfelt journey of stories, laughter, art, and raw conversation with gratitude to the supreme power, loving family, our own creative partner, AB Photos, and we bring voices that inspire, entertain, and connect, unscripted and soulful expression here we do. And thank you to the venue partner, Triangles Biryani. So today we have our guest, Mr. Naveen Bhatia. So he is a Raleigh-based entrepreneur and real estate strategist and transformation advisor. A graduate of IIT-Delhi, Naveen spent over 2 decades in leadership roles. And we want to hear more about him from him. So welcome to the Unfiltered Gupshup podcast. I'm very glad that you agreed after a long conversation with you. Mm-hmm. So thank you and welcome to the podcast.
And thank you, Aditi. Thank you for being patient with me. And finally, I think I'm here. And let's figure out what we can talk about during this session. And hopefully, I can give some thoughts which will inspire a few folks.
Of course. Tell us about your journey, how it began into your life.
So I was like a lot of us in this age group were born and brought up in India, typical upper middle class family. My dad was one of the first engineers in his family, so there was a lot of let's say focus on education and discipline, and somewhat ambitious. And my mom was more of a homekeeper, housewife. She kind of took care of us while my dad was busy with work. She was kind of the moral value, let's say, guideline for us all the time. And during my growing up, we used to move from one city to another because my dad had a transferable post, and I think there was a learning in all of those as we grew up. As we moved from one city to another, there was we became more of very cosmopolitan in a way. There was new friends, new schools, new city, new languages.
Yes, I know the experience because my father was in Air Force.
Okay. So, and part of it was because I think my dad also went to the army for 4 years. He had a short stint there. So there was a lot of, I think, that came into our growing up.
Awesome.
And that I think built us where we are now.
Great. So tell us, I heard that you are leading a Bhatia Team. So what does Bhatia Team does and what is it about?
So the Bhatia Team is more about real estate, helping families relocate to the area, helping seniors, helping who are trying to downsize or they are trying to move to homes which are, let's say, friendly for their age. We also work with a lot of luxury or high net worth individuals who are looking to move from other locations or let's say upgrade in their lives.
Okay. So how you evaluated yourself during the Fortune 500 companies? What is your experience working with them?
So let's just step back a little bit. So what happened is once I went for you typically, if you remember, there were only 2 options. You either become an engineer or a doctor, right? Yes. So I was I think a lot of times we think that, we all planned this way. Well, it doesn't work that way. So I just said, okay, I'm not going to become a doctor because I don't want to study for so many years. It's as simple as that, right? Then it came to, okay, what field you will choose, right? So then I said, okay, I'm not going to become a computer science guy because I don't like sitting on a desk. Okay. So I chose engineering and electronics engineering and so on, right? And then I got my dream job at Qualcomm, which was I didn't have to go through several rounds of interviews. I just got it. And it was almost like a lottery, right?
Yeah.
And then I think my managers were almost fatherly figures, and they almost kind of took care of me like almost as their son. And then finally my dad one day said, hey, like, you should do an MBA and go and try the MBA program at IIT. And I said, I will probably not be able to get it. I applied, I got it.
Oh.
So it was not, I did not do anything. And then I said, okay, how will I do this program for 3 years? Like because my job was so hectic, but my manager said, no, you are going for it, because I had earned my stripes a little bit by then.
Yeah.
And then they agreed to pay for the whole thing too, and so on. So things just evolved. So, but I would say mentally, you always need to think how to move forward, and things will suddenly start falling in place versus thinking that, okay, how am I going to do this, right? And if you don't take your first step, it's just not going to happen.
Yes.
And a lot of times we think that we planned for it. We didn't plan for it. We just tried to move forward one step at a time, and everybody around you will figure out a way to help you. I think that's what all humans do, and that's where we try to help each other, at least in our heart, most of the time. Then coming back to your Fortune 500 question, as I moved into a corporate climb or a ladder or whatever you want to call it, I worked for companies all around the globe. And my field was telco wireless. So if you see your phone, I've done 3G projects, 4G projects, 5G projects all across the globe. So, and everybody can relate to it. When I say 5G, people understand, right? And because the phone has become a device which has become almost it's almost become like our digital twin, for the lack of a better way to put it, right? But that, I think, put me on a path where I did very interesting projects. Some of them could be I went to Congo, in Kinshasa, and just to prove that you can go in there and come back alive, because my team won't go in there, right? I have done projects in Alaska during the summers, where there is 22 hours of daylight during the summers, but if you go during the winters, it's the other way around. So if you've seen, there was a movie by Al Pacino which kind of showed this, and when you go there, then you really see that there is a very big difference. I've done projects in Japan, I've done projects in Minnesota during the winters. So I've done projects all over the place, like projects on how your Wi-Fi works on the plane now. We did all the testing. Most of the people use consulting companies to do these projects, and then when they operationalize it, obviously they have their own employees to do it, right?
So what advice would you give to the young entrepreneurs, those who are coming into the field? What do you think?
I would say that, we need to think, always think in a way that we have to figure out problems. We have to see problems and figure out solutions to it. We might not know the solution, but if you try to figure it out one step at a time, you will gradually be able to get a hold of it. That's what we did in our consulting work. We usually never knew what the problem was. Even the client did not. So they will call us, they will actually pay us to figure out what the problem is. Then they will pay us to solve the problem, right? And that's what I think, if you look at any business for that matter, a lot of times you have to do somewhat it's not as difficult as we think. Sometimes if we have a problem, I think we should just go sit in a park on a bench where the weather is good, and just think for like 30 minutes or 1 hour and think about the root cause. And if we can identify that root cause, we know what to do next. It might not be the solution, but it gives us our starting point.
Means like your mind should be clear and you should know where to go. So what are the hardships in the corporate world? I know I always heard it. Everybody knows. But still, what is your experience?
So I started with the Darwin's theory, where like India was like survival of the fittest, right? And then the values came in, where you watched Ramayana every Sunday at least, and some of those concepts, right? That you always have to say the truth and this and that. But then when it came to corporate, it was almost like Mahabharata going on, right? Because that's it looks very good outside. You make so much money, but it's almost like a rat race where, and as you go up higher in the ranks, there's a lot of politics going on.
Yes.
And but finally, I think my answer to that is, it looks like your ladder is going up. But it's almost like snakes and ladders going on at the same time, right?
Yes.
And where I think you just have to build your capability and patience, and I think with experience and exposure and the right mentorship, slowly you will figure out how to kind of work in that culture, right? And it's not about, like, if you really look at, let's say, if I take the example of Mahabharata again, the idea is not to just fight for no reason, right? If you know what you're doing and you're doing it for the right reasons, everybody will see it in the end, and you will rise in the ranks.
Yes, I hope that's the things you are saying, that it will inspire other people. So how would you blend philosophy with the business?
I would say that we have to kind of think a little bit out of the box. Like, originally I was always like chasing the outcome, right?
Okay.
So if you think about, and I keep on going back to, and maybe that's because of my age now, I'm like 50 in that range, right? So you always kind of think about, okay, so what am I doing wrong, right? It's not giving me that satisfaction which I wanted, right? And that's when the philosophy part kicks in, where you don't focus on the Mahabharata, but you focus on the Gita section of it, right? And I think my dad kept on telling me for the last 20 years, hey, you should read it, but you only read it when the right time comes, right?
When it's needed.
When it's needed, right? So I read parts of it to some degree, and I think the point of it was that, I was always, and all of us do when we are rising up in a career, we're chasing money, we are chasing fame, we are chasing titles, we are chasing all of those things, right? But when
we slow down, we remember our values.
So I would say that the philosophical change was that I stopped chasing outcomes.
Yes.
Because earlier I was doing the right thing, but I was also always chasing the outcome too, and the outcome almost became equal, right? So if there is no outcome, I will not, right? And but as I evolved, I think the speed was not that important, but the direction became much more important. So I started doing a few things where I would kind of help, like TIE, we are associated because of TIE. So I did help a lot of kids, mentoring for the Shark Tank or Young Entrepreneurs program they have. Then right now I see anybody who's young and bright, and he might not have the money, he might not have the knowledge, or he might not have the education. But if I see somebody, even if they're working in a Starbucks, and I can see that they have something in them, I will talk to them and give them my card and say,
I'm there to help.
I'm there to help. Just come in. And I will do it pro bono. There's nothing, I don't expect anything back, but I can see the fire in them. I can see the creative talent in them. I can see the energy in them, right? And I think I was fortunate that I did get a lot of help as I grew up, and I want to give back to folks who are there, and I'm already helping a few folks like that. One of them is like he was trying to do Airbnb, and now he has 20 of them after a year, right? So but they need guidance, like how do I set up the legal structure? How do I go look at the financials? Am I running too fast? How do I evaluate a deal or not, right? Because they don't have the experience, and that's where I think the collective experience or knowledge or wisdom we have built over time comes in handy for them. I think it's very important to know what not to do than what to do, right? So, and I'm helping a few other folks on the same lines where I just feel like giving back to
the
community, right? In a way.
So what would you suggest those who are in their 50s, or they are done with one part of their journey or life journey, and they want to move forward, they are stuck? and they do not know where to go, what advice would you give to them?
I believe age is a number. So you have to think about that you are not starting from scratch when you are 50, right? You already have the experience, you have the knowledge, you have the education, and you a lot of times have the technological edge also. Just figure. And the reason why I work with younger folks is also, I think there is a selfish interest in me too. That I want to learn how they think. But if I don't work with them, I won't learn anything, right? They learn from me, that's given, right? But I am also trying to learn how does Generation Z think, how do they think, and same thing applies to anybody who's in my age group. I think we just need to kind of not, first of all, take your ego up. Right? Because we think, oh, I've done so many things. Why would I go and start from scratch, right? So similarly, like real estate, when I started, that's real, right? A lot of people say, okay, he's an engineer, he's an MBA, he's done this, that, he's handled millions of dollars or whatever. But what does he know about real estate? So that was a basic question which some people asked, right? Okay, because my wife Ruchi was kind of actually doing this for a long time, and I think she was my guru to begin with, right?
Awesome.
And but you sometimes have to step back because you have to learn.
Yes.
And the only difference is that my attitude is that once I'm on to something, I will figure it out one way or the other, right?
Learning process should not be stopped.
Should not be stopped, right?
We keep learning from day one of our life.
So right now I am so focused on learning AI tools, for example. How do you really leverage them? And like I prepared for this and gave my avatar to the chat GPT, and it kind of gave me some ideas on how to kind of talk about it, right?
Yes.
So
awesome.
Similarly, I think that those concepts apply in business, in almost every field of life. So we need to use technology to not replace humans, but technology to help us
to understand.
So if we were to take, let's say, just two examples of like real estate, right? So real estate, we use technology for optimizing our business, for doing a lot of automation in the business, for not having to have a big team of players, and making the client experience much better in a way, and doing a lot of analysis, in-depth analysis, which can be done very easily. And I think I'm happy to even teach it to all my clients and anybody, that it's not that hard, guys. Once you know what you're doing, right?
I would take classes from YouTube.
Yeah, and same thing applies on my consulting business, which I do, where I help small businesses who are, let's say, $1 million trying to grow. They just don't have the money to hire a CTO and a CFO and a CMO and this and that. And they're mom and pop businesses. They don't necessarily know exactly what to do, right?
Yes.
And I help build those businesses to scale. And so the idea is I kind of give them the strategy. I don't start doing the work for them, right?
Yes.
And it is very important, right?
Guidance.
To know,
Guidance is important.
Guidance is important, right?
Yeah.
And I think that in a lot of cases that makes a difference in their path to the next level. And a lot of times I'm a little bit more honest than I should be, saying that, hey, what you're doing might be good when you were at that stage, but at every stage of life, for example, like you were saying, 50, you have to think about where are you now, and then evolve based on that, right?
Most of the people have the idea, but they do not know the path to reach over there.
Yep.
That guidance is very much needed.
Yep.
What would be your final message to build the future personality and overall progress in life?
I would say at some point in time, you have to decide what you love to do. Like obviously when I was in my foundational years, or till 25 to 50 kind of age, you're always trying to take care of your family, and you are trying to build a nest, a security nest, right?
Yes.
And at some point in time, money has no not much value left, because what are you going to do with the money, right? So right now, for example, I am going and I've joined a Toastmasters club.
Yes.
Because I want to work on speaking better, right?
Yes.
There's no harm in it, but there was no time for it, and yeah, even I should have made time earlier. that is something.
That is what, when we slow down, we get a lot of things to do.
We get a lot of things to do. Similarly, I am doing a lot of other things now, which I think ideally we should do that when we are in our younger years.
Yes.
But we don't, right? So then I'm trying to kind of think about mentally, physically, spiritually, what other things can I do, right? And some of them, maybe it will take a little bit of time for me to rinse my feet, and maybe I'll go all the way forward or not, but we should try to do things which we love. And I think if you're passionate about it, then you will definitely make progress. So if somebody says, hey, you need to go and start painting, well, I am not passionate about it, so
but I can learn.
And maybe with the right teacher, I might become. I think the teacher is very important.
Yes.
So the teacher can sometimes bring in a lot of passion, which, or at least bring out that creativity in you.
Yes.
And so I would say, for anybody who's 50 plus or young or any age, I think you should try to look for a mentor, a guide, a teacher, whatever you want to call it, and try to move forward. Just try to move forward, and the things will start falling in place, one way or the other.
Yes.
And you will, when you are at zero, you can only go up, right?
Nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. And at 50, I would say you should think like that, okay, let's think that we are starting from zero.
Zero, from the scratch.
From scratch.
Yeah.
If you start defining it from that point, then you will definitely move forward. So I had a client, and I cannot go into details, but he had Parkinson's.
Okay.
And the first day we met him, he was six feet tall.
Okay.
He's 78 years old. I didn't know how to kind of handle it, right?
Yeah.
But in 2 or 3 hours sitting with him, and that's where I think my wife is more of a very people person. I'm kind of more of a process person. Right? So I saw that it's almost like we all think that it's real estate, for example, is a transactional business, or any business for that matter, right? But in some businesses, relationships and what you're, because you have to work on evolving lives,
yes.
not.
Yes.
Why does real estate happen? People think, no, people just buy and sell homes. No,
it's not.
There is a life transition which is happening, because of which that person is either buying or selling or doing whatever they are doing, right?
Yes.
So when we start thinking like that, and that's where I saw Ruchi like working with this client, and I was kind of nervous, but after 2-3 hours, the client trusted us like anything, right?
Yeah.
He had, for example, Parkinson's. So he could not even sign anything.
Oh, yeah.
But I would tell you that he was one of the smartest guys I've ever worked with. It was not about his age, about his physical abilities, and once you connect with a person on a one-on-one level, he was almost like, I became almost the interface for everything else he was doing.
So the main part, it is like nobody can stop learning.
Yes.
Whatever the age, if our brain is working, we can learn a lot. And thank you very much for agreeing for this podcast. I'm very thankful. And thank you once again to the Triangles Biryani and AB Photos and Naveen Bhatia. So thank you very much. We will meet on another podcast very soon. So subscribe please to the channel Unfiltered Gupshup USA.
Thank you.